I hereby call the Youth Commission meeting to order on Monday, November 17th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Recording Secretary, will you please conduct roll call?
Yes. Youth Commission Member Luis.
Here.
Youth Commission Member Munoz.
Here.
Youth Commission Member Rodriguez.
Here.
Vice Chair Benitez.
Here.
And Chair Malfavon.
Here.
Records show you have 5 members present. Chair Malfavon, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have the Pledge of Allegiance. If able, will you please join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance? Now we have the public comment section. This is the time for the commission to receive comments from the public. We will not accept any additional requests for speaker cards once we begin the public comment section. If you have not already, please submit your request to the recording secretary. Speakers will have 3 minutes to speak. For speakers on Zoom, you must dial 9 from your phone or click the button labeled Raise Hand Now to be in the speaker queue once public comments commence. Recording secretary, do we have any public speakers in person or on Zoom?
At this time, there are none.
Thanks, Madam Secretary. Next is the consent calendar, items 1 through 3. Commission members, are there any items you wish to pull from the consent calendar? Is there a motion to approve the consent calendar?
If I may, I'll just note that the revisions to the locations were for May and August. We'd added 2 off-site locations versus meeting in the chamber.
I'd like to make a motion to approve items 1 through 3 through the consent calendar.
I second the motion.
Madam Secretary, will you please conduct roll call vote?
Yes, motion by Chair Malfavon and seconded by Vice Chair Benitez to approve items 1 through 3 of the consent calendar. Youth Commission Member Luis.
Yes.
Youth Commission Member Munoz.
Yes.
Youth Commission Member Rodriguez.
Yes.
And Vice Chair Benitez.
Yes.
And Chair Malfavon.
Yes.
Vote is 5 ayes, 0 nays. That motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Now we will move on to the informational items section of the agenda. I will turn it over to Parks, Recreation, and Community Services Deputy Director Tim Pagano to present the Parks and Recreation's Community Services Staff Report.
Chairperson, if it's okay, I'd like to move the Public Works Agency Parks Services Staff Report before the Parks and Recreation, if that's acceptable to you.
That'll be fine.
Thank you.
All right, so now we will have the Park Services Superintendent, Jorge Acevedo, and Public Works Senior Civil Engineer, Robert Aguirre, to present the Public Works Agency's Park Services Staff Report.
Good evening, Youth Commissioners. My name is George Acevedo, Park Service Superintendent. And today I'll be presenting the park maintenance updates and then passing it on to my colleague, Robert Aguirre, for the capital improvements portion of the presentation. So I always like to start with this slide of Parks Makes Life Better. In my world, in the Park Services world, it's an opportunity to share some of the good stewardship that our park maintenance team is doing out in the parks. And how do we support that is by being good stewards of our parks. So in the next couple of slides, you'll see a lot of the stuff that goes on behind the scenes, some of the stuff that's done by our in-house staff, some of the stuff that we contract out, but it's mainly just on the maintenance side. Sometimes it's, might appear to be a little mundane, but it's what keeps our stuff, we would like to say, clean, green, and safe. So here on your slide, you'll see a couple of slides of our maintenance teams keeping our parks clean, green. You'll see on the left hedge trimming, They mow, they blow, they fertilize. We regulate water quantities, grass height, turf heights, depending on the type of fields. So that goes on in our 370 acres of park space that we maintain in the city of Santa Ana. Another service that we do regularly is pressure washing. This includes pressure washing to our playgrounds, to our picnic shelters, to our shade structures, to hardscapes around our newly renovated Centennial Lake. We've included pressure washing to kind of alleviate or assist with a lot of the duck poops, so for the people who are familiar with the lake. So pressure washing is something that we incorporate on a regular basis. Kind of keeps our areas clean, inviting for the public to kind of continue to utilize and activate our parks. In this next slide, kind of highlighting a little bit of where our in-house staff does on a regular basis. Everything from irrigation repairs, digging up turf, repairing outdated irrigation lines, main lines, lateral lines, everything from a 3/4 inch to about a 4-inch line. On the right-hand side, the guys are tearing up concrete, pouring new concrete. On the left-hand side, some of the guys are overseeing, in this case, the lawn bowling center. So just like to highlight a little bit of what kind of goes on behind the scenes, once again, in our park services team. This one, I'm sure our Deputy Director, Tim Pagano, is going to speak on our Sandpoint Playground, our Kaboom project, and how we supported that to make that a successful project. I'd just like to thank their team for taking the lead in that collaboration. We just supported it on the back end, and thanks to that collaboration, now we have a new playground at Sandpoint, which is open today officially. We took the fence down, and it will be open for the public and the children of the city of Santa Ana to enjoy and appreciate. So that's we assisted with a lot of bringing in the tools, pouring the footings for some of the playgrounds, laying out the site in preparation for the project, the rubberized surfacing, a lot of irrigation retrofits to accommodate for the new playground, pouring new concrete out there. So if you visit the site, you'll be able to see new hardscape, new sidewalks, allowing you access to the playground, which includes a lot of, well, not a lot, but accessible elements like ADA swings, and the rubberized surfacing is going to provide that ADA path to those elements. So I think, it's a good pat on our backs. A recreation team appreciate the work that they did in collaborating with Kaboom. And this is I think this was on our top priority list to replace because of how old and outdated this playground was. So can't say enough about this project. This is another project that our in-house team took on at Lily Keene. Before this project was even thought about, this thing sat about, let me give you guys some backstory. So down south of the city of Santa Ana, a lot of our fields and parks sit pretty close to the water table. So there's a lot of salination, a lot of salt that kind of evaporates when there's rains, or just on a regular basis. If anybody digs down in the south part of town, you'll be able to hit the water table pretty close, in a couple 5 to 10 feet. So in this case, this one sits about 4 feet already below the grade down there. So in about a foot, every season when the rains started coming in, a lot of the salination, a lot of salt comes up and it eats up on the turf. So we're hopeful, right? We were in collaboration with our CIP team, or a lot of the projects I see around town. We were able to import a lot of their soil that they were gonna, remove off site. So we imported it onto the site, brought the elevation up about 2 to 3 feet at some areas. So a lot of the stuff we imported a lot of the soil. We re-excavated the site for new irrigation systems. We, as you can see, in the next couple pictures, we brought in a topper, new seed, rerouted the main line. So it's a lot of, I mean, we spent about 2 months out there with about 5 people, every day, redoing this sports field in an effort to get it to a playable state. So like I said, once we're hopeful, you go to the next slide, Demi. We're hopeful. This is some of the progress that's going on now after we've renovated and reseeded. So I think this is about a month ago. So I'm thinking by this month, you should be able to see a lot more of a fuller field, greener. And, with these rains, we'll see how kind of it takes with the new soil. So, and once again, this is just an effort to kind of provide more playable fields to our youth. Make sure they're safe, make sure they're, as level as we can. So we actually laser leveled this field. So you go out there, you'll be pretty surprised how the improvement of that field. So I invite you guys to participate. So with that, we'll save my questions till after the next presentation. I would like to pass it on to my colleague, Robert Aguirre.
Thank you, George. Good evening, Chair, Vice Chair, and Commission members. My name is Robert Aguirre, Senior Civil Engineer with Public Works, and I'm presenting on some of the updates for some of the park capital projects. So 3 that we're going to highlight tonight are in various stages of progress. So the first one that we'll present is the new park over at 10th and Flower. It's in the design / bid advertisement phase. The next one is going to be the Cypress Fire Station Restoration Project that's currently in construction. And lastly, the Santiago Park Phase 2 project, which is just completed construction. So the first one, which is in the design bid phase, is a new park over off of Flower and 10th Street. So it's a couple of vacant lots that are merged together to create a brand new park site. Some of the highlights include a basketball court, playground equipment, fitness equipment, a skate park, along with walkways, and various landscaping and irrigation trees. And the next project it's actually really interesting. So this is an old fire station building that's been decommissioned for decades. It's kind of been under various stages of disrepair, and we've gone through the design phase and advertised it, awarded a contract, and now we have a contractor on board. They actually started today. They mobilized today, set up the temporary fencing. They're going to start moving equipment in there to renovate the building back to its historical significance. So all the architecture will be restored, preserved. So brand new windows, sort of restored to the old architectural standards, and it'll sort of look, as close as possible to the original building, with modern features on the inside. And oh, sorry, can we go back to that phase? And then the purpose of this building is going to be more of a community center type building. So the inside will have like office type furnishings, and it'll be like home for a classroom type setting. And then it'll have 2 conference rooms and a large sort of audience style main room, along with restrooms and like a break room in the back for staff. And then lastly, going over to Santiago Park Phase 2, this is on the west side of town, or I'm sorry, the west side of the park, over off of Main Street, across from the Discovery Center. And then this was an existing trail that was sort of enhanced, if you will. So if you see from the photos, we have a decomposed granite trail on the left, and then a concrete walkway on the right. And then we have various park benches and trees, so all new landscaping, irrigation. And I believe we have a ribbon cutting ceremony scheduled for next month on this one. And any questions on George or I's presentations? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we will move on to the informational, and I'll turn it over to Tim Pagano to present the Parks and Recreation Community Services Staff Report.
Thank you, Chairperson Malfavon, and good evening, Commissioners. Pleasure to be with you. I'd like to first start off by thanking George and Robert for being here. When you look at those pictures, the one thing that I always take a look at is AI isn't going to be doing anything with those jobs that those gentlemen are doing, right? And so that's one thing that we should be paying attention to is, the work that these gentlemen do for our city and for our park space is one of a kind. and the one thing I always share is I come from a North Orange County city. I grew up there. $1 million homes all over the place, and their parks are nowhere compared to what we have here in Santa Ana, and it's due to the effort of these gentlemen right here. So thank you guys for all the work that you guys do. We appreciate you here in Parks and Rec. And what I'll do now is just give you a brief update on what we've been doing in Parks and Recreation. Sorry, no PowerPoint today. I'm just going to give you an oral report, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them at the end of the discussion here. Just going to go through our different sections in Parks and Recreation, starting off with our aquatic section. Something of interest, especially for a few of you, I would imagine, is that our recruitment for new lifeguards begins in December. With spring program planning underway to ensure readiness for our 10-week summer season, the free emerging lifeguard leader program will resume in February. So we're currently planning it right now. And again, the emerging lifeguard leader program is a award-winning program recognized by CPRS Aquatics. And basically what it does is it offers the opportunity for those people that are interested in potentially being lifeguards to see what lifeguards do. And again, take individuals that may not have necessarily been on swim team or water polo team or anything like that, but invites them to kind of just get in the water and see what the skills are that is necessary to be a lifeguard here within the city of Santa Ana. We've taken quite a few people, some of your peers that did not know how to swim, and now they're on our lifeguard staff, and they're fully certified lifeguards by the American Red Cross, and they got a summer gig that pays quite well. Lifeguards get paid really well. So if you are interested or any of your friends are interested, please share about that. I'm sure during social media and on our website, we'll be pushing that out relatively soon. Also, it'll be featured in the Colterra. We would appreciate if you point anybody that you guys know that may be interested to the aquatics section's way. In addition, they're wrapping up their season and are continuing to do so. There's a lot of grants that we operate within the aquatics section. And so they're basically getting post-season data that they're compiling in reports and everything. One other area of note is that we applied for a Association of Aquatics Professionals grant, in which we actually received, and we'll be getting 25 U.S. Coast Guard approved life jackets that will be featured at our pools. So during rec swim, if you're not really comfortable with the water, if you're a younger person, or if you're coming with your family and everything, those lifeguards will be available so that they can actually wear them during rec swim, add a little bit extra layer of security for everybody. In our athletics section, our youth flag football program is concluding, and we had 277 participants this season. Playoffs will run right now, actually last week, and we will have closing ceremonies starting this week over at the Santa Ana Stadium. Our youth boys basketball program is ramping up, and we are now closed at a total of 460 participants. We're looking forward to starting that season relatively soon. Our adult volleyball program is launching for the first season on October 14th, or it started last month, and it's playing on Tuesday nights over at Jerome Recreation Center. So Mercy, in a couple of years, will be able to play on the adult volleyball team. You get your friends to play and all that good stuff. Adult co-ed kickball, our Turkey Bowl tournament. I think this is the second annual Turkey Bowl tournament. It's supposed to be held this weekend, so weather permitting, we'll have, I think right now we have 7 teams registered, hoping to get at least 8 so we can have a nice little bracket that everybody can play in. But we're looking forward to having that again, weather permitting, and if not, we'll postpone it till when the weather allows us to have that event. We're happy to have awards donated by Cafe Cultura and Shakey's Pizza as well. So thank you to those 2 establishments. We had our fall festival open house over at Salgado Recreation Center, and we had over 300 attendees participate on October 4th. It was a great little event, and we were happy to work with our community partners in providing that for the Salgado community. In addition, Jerome had their spectacular open house on October 25th. We had 173 youth, 116 adults, and 19 exhibitors show up and really give everybody a pre-Halloween good time, and with a haunted maze, craft stations, contests, and raffles. Our field permits, so the work that's done after our two friends here do their contribution. Our reservations office issued more than 1,790 field permits during September and October, and those are our user groups that engage with us and ask for practice time, game time, all that type of stuff out on the fields. Could range from soccer, baseball, Pop Warner football out at Memorial. Our reservations team is busy making sure that we're meeting everybody's needs. Our community engagement section, we are now at 10,300 followers, and our platform continues to grow, specifically on Instagram. Between the month of, or from the month of October, staff fulfilled 116 internal marketing requests. So this section is the glue with that serves all of our other sections, making sure that all of their information is going out and is being featured on our website, via Instagram and via Facebook as well too. Some of the posts and what they did in terms of engagement, our Boo at the Zoo post had over 41,000 views, 393 shares. Our Kaboom Build Day promo had about 38,000 views and 264 shares. Plaza Navideña, which is coming up this weekend, 24,000 views and 277 shares, and our Jerome's Spectacular Flyer had 46,000, almost 47,000 views and 177 shares. In addition, our community engagement team was able to secure new partnership agreements with VinFast Auto for $10,000 at a title level sponsorship for the 10th Lunar New Year Festival. In addition to Tuscany Espresso and Coffee, they're providing $48,000 annual in-kind title level sponsorship supporting this year's Plaza Navideña and then next year's Fiestas Patrias, International Older Adults Celebration, and Dia de los Muertos. Very excited about those two partners coming on board and assisting us. With regards to our health and wellness section, past events, we had our Dia de los Muertos Magic of the Altar event at Roosevelt Walker Community Center. We had 320 attendees join us, and it was a very vibrant community celebration honoring loved ones through art, culture, and tradition. At El Salvador Park, our community garden, they hosted the 2025 Harvest Festival with 241 participants and were supported from the Artesia Pilar Neighborhood Association. Total garden participation between September and October, we had just under 1,600 people visit our gardens during that time frame. Our senior services section in August and September, we had 29 new participants at Santa Ana Senior Center and 28 new participants registered at Southwest Senior Center. And as always, there's a variety of diverse programming that takes place at both those centers. For our October meal distribution, we served on average about 54 lunch programs a day at Santa Ana Senior Center and 78 per day at Southwest Senior Center. In total, let me just do some quick math right here. We did almost 2,900 meals during September and October for both of our senior centers to our senior residents. In terms of the Emergency Food Assistance Program, in October, we assisted 313 seniors out of Santa Ana Senior Center and 188 seniors out of Southwest Senior Center. Our senior transportation program currently has 284 participants, and they go all over the place to and from our senior centers. They go on weekly shopping trips and monthly excursion. And participation continues to increase as program offers expand. Our special events section, we've assisted in 21 third-party special event permits during September and October and 7 film permits. So in addition to putting on our community-wide special events, our special events team assists in if you wanted to run a special event similar to the Dia de los Muertos event that took place down on 4th Street in Ross. we would permit that, right? Or we would have a portion of assisting in the application and reviewing it and everything. So we did 21 over those 2 months. And then in addition to that, we also work on film permits. And those can be student films. Those could be major motion pictures. The Santa Ana train station has been featured in quite a few major motion pictures and everything like that. So it's definitely a place of note for people that want to film within Santa Ana. This Saturday, November 22nd, 2025, from 5 to 8 p.m. down at the Plaza Calle Cuatro, we have our Plaza Navideña event, which is our tree lighting ceremony. We would encourage all of you guys to be there. It tends to be one of the smaller but more popular events that we have, just because it's very community focused. We'll have some community performances. Mr. Santa and Mrs. Claus will be there for photo opportunities. There will be free food and beverages, and then we're going to be having ballet folklorico dances and mariachi performance on the main stage as well too. So please join us if you can. We're currently prepping for our TET Festival 2026, which will take place February 7th from 1 to 6 p.m. at Centennial Park. And this year is the year of the horse. We're looking forward to having a lot of food vendors and exhibitors, cultural programming, and special guests where we will feature 2 renowned authors participating in partnership with the Santa Ana Public Library. And as always, we're looking at having a very significant fireworks display for the TET Festival. Lastly, in our youth and teens section, we had our Monster Mash on October 15th over at El Salvador Park. We had 45 people registered and 45 people attend. In addition, we had our Courtyard Cinema on October 24th, and we had 59 people in attendance that day. So some new programming coming out of El Salvador that is really capturing the community's interest. In addition, we had Kids Night Out at Salgado Recreation Center. That's actually taking place this Friday from 5 to 9 p.m. And then we're also offering a kids fall camp at the beginning of next week. So Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday over at El Salvador Center. So kids ages 6 through 12 can basically hang out with us during Thanksgiving break if their parents still have to go to work and everything, and we'll take care of entertaining the kiddos during that time. So if you have anybody that has any friends that have younger, or if you guys have younger siblings, please encourage your parents to sign them up. Teen Night Out, we had it's a new programming similar to Kids Night Out, but focused on teens such as yourself. We had evening featuring laser tag, pumpkin decorating, and activities in addition to dinner, and we had almost 30 participants. We had 24 participants show up and hang out with us. And then our upcoming excursions, which have already filled, is Aquarium of the Pacific, which just happened, I believe. And then Knott's Berry Farm, which also happened in October, and that was also sold out as well. So with that, other than what George already mentioned, our Kaboom Playground down at Sandpoint Park, that was a exciting opportunity to work with an outside agency like Kaboom and Pacific Life and First Financial Resources. We all came together and identified Sandpoint Park as a location where we needed to upgrade our playground facilities, and everything worked out well, and we're happy to announce that today the playground's open. I don't know if anybody's on it right now because of the inclement weather and everything, but as soon as the clouds break, kids will be out there, and so will we, making sure that we enjoy that space that we created for everybody. And with that, I'll end my presentation, and I'll be here for any questions that you may have.
I have a question. Can you give a brief update on this quarter's program participation and any support needed to keep improving services citywide?
Which are you referring to, Commissioner Rodriguez?
Program participation as in teen participation?
Sure. So in our youth and teen program, so you're asking how we can increase participation?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, it's real simple. I mean, I think one of the things, at least from my perspective, right, is that, where's mine? Mine are right here. As soon as we got these, we lost the battle in teen programming, right? And so what we need to do as far as recreation professionals is try to find experiences that you guys wouldn't necessarily have access to under normal circumstances, right? And so right now, we're still in the era of going to amusement parks and, you know, Aquarium of the Pacific, which is all great. I mean, again, don't get me wrong, there's certain benefits to being able to go to those things and everything, but one of the things that we were working on prior to some staffing changes was actually a camping trip up in Lake Arrowhead, right? Where, again, we would take teens up and they would participate, and we had a partnership with the City of Commerce and everything, which, again, how many of you guys have been to Lake Arrowhead? Okay, cool. 2, 3, okay. So you guys are probably overrepresented of what the actual experience level of of your peers out in the community and everything like that. So what we are trying to attempt to do is we're trying to find experiential opportunities that will draw the interest of teens. I think the other aspect of that, in my opinion, is that teens want to do something bigger than themselves. So we, and this may even go into Vice Chair Benitez's conversation later on, is we need to identify what are those opportunities? How do we make our teens, you know, involved in things that are bigger than themselves? Because that's really what's going to capture their attention, right? It's not the bells and whistles, because we all have the bells and whistles. We all have the video game consoles at home, the TVs, the, you know, discretionary money where we can go to the movies and to the shopping malls and all that type of stuff, right? It's really, how do we capture the attention of your peer group so that you guys can then make an impact on those that are coming behind you? And you guys have a very short window of time. So for all of you, you guys are doing that, right? But how do you get it to where now you have a force multiplier where you bring 5 people and you bring 5 people and you bring 5 people? Again, we see the audience, right? You know, why aren't there more voices that are expressing what they want to see from this board and this body right here, specifically as it comes to issues that are related to teens? So very simply, long story long, is, you know, we need to find experiential opportunities that will hit the target for those things that you guys aren't getting anymore. And a lot of that is drama-based stuff. I mean, again, I think that there's still opportunities that exist at various high schools. I don't know if it happens at every high school, but again, when I was going to high school, way back when, you know, there was a lot more opportunities, you know, in terms of extracurriculars than what I think you guys are offering now. And I think there's a gap there that we can explore as a recreation department to really program to what those needs are. And so that's what my professional opinion would be.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question.
Absolutely.
For the aquatic section. I'm interested in the position of the lifeguard. Can you
Cool.
tell me more about it?
Sure. So do you have any swimming background?
Yes, I'm a varsity player for water polo and swim.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So it's right up your alley. So the emerging lifeguard leader, again, it's a come as you are type of program. So look for it on the website or via social media or in our Cultura, and it will have the dates and times in which you show up. I think off the top of my head, I want to say it's Tuesdays and Thursdays, probably around 5:30 p.m. And it's over at Jerome Park Pool, right? And again, everybody just comes and you either share like, hey, I have an interest in potentially being a lifeguard, and they'll put you through, you know, the workout and everything like that. It's basically, hey, can you swim the length of the pool? No. Can you swim half the length of the pool? Great. You know, and they'll start teaching you the technical aspects of lifeguarding. So they'll even take you to the point where maybe not in the first couple weeks, but they're going to be training you to basically meet the standard of what it means to pass the lifeguard practical test, right? So it changes often, but the last time I was involved in it from a practical level, you have to swim 10 meters and then dive down to the bottom of the pool, pick up a brick, keep the brick over the top of your head, and then tread water to the side, right? So that you have to do it under 1 minute, I think. I think that was the time frame and stuff. So that would be one. Do you know your different strokes? You know, again, can you tread water for a certain period of time? If you can do all those things, then what you're invited to do is take a lifeguard class. And we have those on the weekends during the spring. And again, it's to get your LG certification. And once you get LG certified, then you're ready to be hired. And so then you go through application, interview process, and we see whether or not you can be part of the Santa Ana team. And if you are, then we start pretty much in May, doing trainings every weekend leading up to June. And then it's June through August, or most, and some of them have to go to school, but a lot of times we even go through Labor Day. That's going to be our new standard, is basically Memorial Day to Labor Day. And then once Memorial Park Aquatic Center comes online, we're going to be operating 10 months out of the year. That will be a year-round pool, basically. And there's going to be a lot of programming, including you're going to have to learn how, you and me both are going to have to learn how to watch a water slide, right? And so that's going to be something new for all of us. But if, I don't know if you drive by often, but I walked over to Memorial Park Aquatic Center the other day. That 25-meter by 25-yard comp pool looks intimidating. So make sure that you're ready to go if you're ready, because once we navigate to opening that up, which is in September of 2026, not too far away, that's new water that all of us are going to have to be watching. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting, but it's also going to be a huge responsibility for us to make sure everybody goes home safe at the end of the day. So real easy. We can talk about it more. I can give you my card if I can find one, but I know how to get in touch with you too.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you for all that good, great information. We will now move on to the commission member requested items section of the agenda. I will turn it over to Vice Chair Benitez to lead the future youth commission planning discussion.
Hello. So previously, in the previous meeting, I had mentioned that it's awesome that we intake all this information on what the city does for our youth. And so I just thought it was our turn to take initiative and build something of our own for the youth. And if any other ideas come up, like for adults or teenagers or even like younger in the younger area, but I had a few questions before we start with this brainstorm of what type of programs we can incorporate for our youth. So I'm not sure on who can answer these questions for me, but I had a question. If we have a budget, if the city Santa Ana Youth Commission has a budget, and if we don't, how can we get one?
To my knowledge, you don't have a budget. I think because you guys are an oversight committee, you don't necessarily, I'd have to check the bylaws, and maybe the recording secretary can help me out here. But I think that just because you guys are an oversight committee, there's not anything that is directly tied to the youth commission. Now, with that being said, we do have a youth and teen section that, again, working alongside our professionals that are in that section, if there's something that you guys want to effectuate, that could be looked at during budget development time, and then you could build programming around that. I've seen that done in other communities, but as far as your question specific to the Youth Commission, I think I would say 99% sure that you guys do not have a budget associated with the youth.
Following with that, donations. Is the Santa Ana Youth Commission allowed to get donations? And if yes, how does that work?
Great question. To my knowledge, I don't think you guys are allowed to solicit donations. You guys are appointed officials. Mm-hmm. So again, there's a little bit of, rules and decorum that are associated with that, right? So we can always ask that question of our city clerk to make sure that that is in fact true. Again, I'm going off the top of my head, but because you guys are appointed officials, I think that there's some murky water there as far as receiving donations.
Thank you. So at this moment, I would like to ask for, I don't know how long we need to try to incorporate, or I don't know, begin a new program for the youth, if that's possible.
So what I've seen in my work in the public sector is formal youth commissions such as yourself, you guys can brainstorm. You guys can come up with, ideas as far as what you would like to see. And that can always be received and absorbed by the staff, and then we can have subsequent discussions about it. So it's almost like a roadmap or, a priority list of what you would like to make a priority over the term that you serve and everything like that. What I would say is probably the first step is you would want to look at other youth commissions in other cities to see the work that they're doing, because that would probably give you a good idea as far as some of the work that they're involved with, that either you'd say, oh yeah, that resonates with me and that's in alignment with what we're dealing with here in Santa Ana, or it can generate a new idea. Like, I like that idea, but that wouldn't really fit with us. What if we changed it a little bit, and what if we made that a priority for us? I think that would probably be the best use of your time. Maybe not, you certainly do ideas and brainstorming here, but I would encourage you guys as a group, if this is something that you guys want to take on and, you want to become more action oriented rather than just kind of receiving our staff reports and stuff, that you would do a little research and, kind of, again, each one of you guys could take a nearby city and say, oh, I looked at the city of Anaheim. They do have a youth commission. It's comprised of 12 members. What they do is they do a teen summit, which they bring members of their youth the youth in their community together, and they have speakers that talk on certain subjects and stuff like that, and it takes place out of their gym. What do you guys think about that? And again, that's where the dialogue takes place up at this level. But again, I don't know, you guys probably didn't have the time to do that prior to coming here tonight, so perhaps for tonight's purpose, maybe a brief brainstorming session of some of what initiatives that you guys are passionate about. And maybe you guys can go one by one, maybe one or two. And then what I would recommend is you guys doing some research, for other neighboring cities, and then bring that back to the board for further discussion at December 1st, because your next meeting is actually the first Monday of next month. So, that's been canceled?
Their next meeting is December 15th.
December 15th, has that been changed? Because I saw in the packet that.
The packet is for next year.
Understood, gotcha, so December 15th. So beyond the brainstorming here today, then you would bring back your research and you would agendize it as a discussion around youth commission priorities or initiatives.
Thank you.
I'll also add on that once you guys are ready kind of to decide, like, you need majority buy-in from the board. So like, you want to do it, but it kind of needs to be a collective effort behind what you're wanting to do in order to kind of set it in motion as well.
So can I present an idea that like highlights, that is, I guess you would say budget friendly, since it's more like of a partnership? Is that okay? Like, can I bring up an idea so my fellows can like brainstorm?
Yeah, I think you can certainly mention it. Again, I think for the purposes of the night, brainstorm one or two initiatives that you guys are passionate about, or if you have a specific idea, you would bring it up. But I think what the recording secretary is saying is that you would need to at least bring it forward before the board and say, hey, I'm interested in us becoming more action oriented. I think what we should do is A, and then follow up by B. Can I have your support? And then I'd be willing to answer any questions that you have. If there's any questions, your fellow commissioners can ask that of you. Or if there's majority support, then you guys would just go with what you guys normally do, is you make a motion to adopt Vice Chairperson Benitez's recommendation of initiative, or however you'd want to phrase it. And if you have a majority of support, then we're now on the tracks to take the brainstorming and then make it into an action item at that point, if that makes sense.
So right now, what I would have to do is make a motion.
You would have to at least appeal to your commissioners, and again, maybe you've already done that in the subject of our conversation. So yeah, if you wanted to make a motion to, but you'd have to be very specific about how you phrased it. So you may want to give it a moment of thought as far as, how you're going to position your motion so that everybody can get on board and you can receive the most amount of support that you can get.
But I also think that like, you don't have to make a motion. You wanted to discuss this amongst yourselves, so I would say lead the discussion and have everyone talk about it first and see where it takes you before you're moving along so that you know what you want to do and also the research and stuff. We can always bring it back to other meetings and whatnot as well, so. And bring it on as a business calendar item to where you can do the motions and everything once you guys have actually discussed it.
Okay, so I'll leave it up for discussion. Oh, so, I had about 4, which I have shared the document with my fellow commissioners, and this one's the one that highlighted to me the most, since it's something that that has been mentioned. It's called the Youth Podcast Studio and Media Program. What it is a free youth-run podcast where teens can talk about school issues, mental health, culture, or community problems. And it's new because Santa Ana has our programs, but no youth media or podcast program. And so with the budget, I'm pretty sure we can make a partnership with Santa Ana High School with providing these type of materials, including microphone software, editing software, and etc. Where we could, following up with that, we could also, with you guys' your own school, you guys can create a club that helps this podcast studio come alive.
So that's your one. You said you had 4 ideas,
Yes,
but that's the one that you want for your fellow commissioners to consider.
yes.
Understood.
Could you further explain of how would this essentially work for us? Because I'm a little confused of what you're trying to make happen.
Okay, so like I said, we would have I guess it would be a club that would be co-founded by the 5 of us at our own school, and it's kind of hard because you guys go to the same school. However, it would be like this club where it's this partnership throughout Santa Ana High School Youth Commission, and essentially it would be, I'm not sure if you have seen or if you guys' school has a podcast program, but our school has a newsletter podcast where students talk about new memes, essentially new news, I guess you could say. And this program, this club would be like you invite students who want to speak about something or bring attention to, or essentially highlight or congratulate something that has come to their attention, and just help them get out of their shell and being able to run this, not run, but be part of this podcast studio.
Then in this podcast studio, what would let's say we make this, what would we talk about in that podcast?
See, since we were talking about how can we get attention from the youth to bring attention to all these programs, I thought it would be a nice way for peers reach out to peers, since it's been a struggle throughout Santa Ana for teens to I guess essentially take advantage of the programs that Santa Ana has for them.
So what I would say is that's a great initiative. And I think instead of us trying to figure out all the solutions to the initiative and everything, that if there are other commissioners that have ideas that maybe they want to spearhead, then that is at least the foundation of the discussion and where you guys go from here. Because again, because that's your initiative, Vice Chair Benitez, what I would encourage you to do is do research on other cities that have teen groups that do a podcast similar to what you're doing and see if there's a market for that. You know, again, how do they run it? You know, tell me, you know, what equipment you use and everything like that. Has it been purchased by the city? Has it been purchased by the school? You know, those type of things, because that's where you'll get your foundational information to where now you can build off of the initiative that you're bringing forward to the rest of the commission here today. So instead of trying to figure out how it's going to work, because again, we don't want to take an idea that you're passionate about and has merit, and kind of just deconstruct it and everything. Let's sit with it right now unless anybody has any questions. And then, again, let's commit to doing more research by going to other, you know, you can even go to other high schools too. You know, it doesn't have to exist in other cities and stuff like that. So that would be my recommendation, and I would, I think it's a great idea. It definitely has merit. And let's see if there's anybody else that have any initiatives that they would like to maybe bring forward to a future discussion.
Thank you.
And if we don't, that's fine too. Maybe what we need is just some time. This is a very good starting point to where maybe the conversation continues. And again, like the recording secretary said, we don't need to commit to bringing it up for a motion or anything. You were just introducing an idea that you're now challenging your other commissioners to maybe do some research on an initiative that they would like to spearhead moving forward. And then at a subsequent meeting, we can have more dialogue about that. This is what I researched. This is what I'm passionate about. This is what I found out. This is what I would like to do with it. And then that dialogue can continue to build. And at some point, I'm sure either all of you will get excited about one or all of you guys will get excited about all 5 of the suggestions that you have. And then at that point, it's a time for a motion to prioritize which one you guys want to throw your weight behind, if that makes sense. So I think that's where we're at right now, unless there's any further discussion. And then I would encourage the recording secretary to put this on our next agenda on December 15th and as a continuation item. Does that work for everybody? And give us a little bit more time to think about it, especially during your Thanksgiving break when you guys are going to want to think real deep and heavy about stuff and not, you know, now that you guys are out of school and everything like that, right? So I think it's a great conversation starter, and I look forward to hearing what you guys come up with December 15th.
Like Deputy Director Pagano said, I think like we should all individually go out and research a certain topic we want to bring up to this commission, and then for our next commission meeting, we can all one by one present these ideas, and then we could further discuss on which ones we want to do. Well, thank you, Vice Chair Benitez, for that discussion, and we will now close the meeting with closing comments. Deputy Director Pagano, do you have any closing comments?
Nothing other than I'm glad the conversation was started, because again, you know, I think there's a difference between, you know, youth commissions that just receive and absorb information and youth commissions that actually want to make an impact. I'm pretty sure all of you guys signed up that because you guys wanted to make an impact rather than just hearing us drone on about the work that we're doing. Now, the work that we're doing is exciting. Like we have a fun time putting these staff reports together for you all and everything like that. But I definitely see why you guys are inspired to want to take more of a assertive role, and I congratulate you on that. So yeah, I look forward to future conversations, and if I can be of any help, like I said, I've worked with teen programming a good portion, a majority of my career. So if you want to bounce any ideas or if I can be of any assistance in providing you guidance, please feel free to reach out, and I'll be happy to have that conversation. You guys can come by the office and we can chat it up. The only other thing, another plug for Plaza Navideña this Saturday. Hope to see you all there. And if I don't see you there, I hope you guys have a happy holidays and a nice Thanksgiving break so that you guys can get some rest and relaxation. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Director Pagano. Finally, any commission member closing comments? Youth Commissioner Luis?
I just want to say to Vice Chair Benitez that I think hopefully her podcast will make an impact to the youth.
Youth Commissioner Munoz?
I myself am quite happy that we all kind of get to come up with like our own thing. It's not necessarily like anything has to be done about it immediately, but it's something that actually we can do. I feel like it's something that we can physically do. We can physically research. We can actually put our own time into it rather than just, like you said, just kind of receiving information, which is great information. I'm just really thankful that we're all able to do that now.
Youth Commissioner Rodriguez?
Before we close, I want to thank everyone for coming out to tonight's meeting and for your continued support and engagement. We also appreciate everyone who took part in our recent events and helped them be successful. I'd also like to take a moment to recognize Susie Frajanic, who retired last month after many years of dedicated service. We're grateful for everything she's done for our community, and we wish her all the best in her next chapter. Thank you again, and have a wonderful evening.
Vice Chair Benitez?
I just want to thank everyone for coming out here, and I really hope that, I guess you could call it, this assertive project moves forward, and I'm excited to hear all your ideas. Thank you.
First of all, I want to thank everybody for coming out here tonight. And as all of you guys know, that next Thursday is Thanksgiving. And in the spirit of thankfulness, I just wanted to thank everyone who comes to our meetings and gives us all these wonderful presentations to us. I really appreciate it. And I also want to thank Hawk for including the Youth Commission at our city events and for giving us all these like meaningful experiences and lessons along the way. And lastly, I want to thank the rest of the commissioners for putting in their dedication into the Youth Commission. And so thank you. And I also want to recognize all the people in Parks and Rec for helping host our city events. I saw your guys' hard work out there at the Boo at the Zoo, the Spooktacular at Jerome, and at the Magic of the Altars events. And I want to say that your hard work is appreciated. And without further ado, I will close the meeting. The next Youth Commission meeting is scheduled for Monday, December 15th at 6 p.m. at the City Hall chambers. Before the commission, I hereby adjourn the meeting at 6:58 p.m.